Surf's Up, released in 2007. Not entirely considered a big hit for Sony Animations, but considered a big enough hit of where they actually made some money out of it. And while this movie isn't considered a big hit for Sony, I still consider this a nostalgic movie nonetheless. And I can guarantee that because I had this on DVD. Some of you probably don't even know what that is. Yeah. I'm old. This movie was an entirely new feat of creativity nonetheless. The detail in the waves and the shakiness of the camera crew as this takes place as a recorded live action documentary just absolutely destroys every single category listed in the high ranks. Of course, there are a couple of kinks here and there, and it's not perfect nonetheless, so I'm not going to be biased about this movie. I'm just listing the overall positives that this movie has to offer. Again, there are the bad parts, but all in all, the positivity on this movie is great. The main reason why I fell in love with this movie in the first place was because of how relatable it seemed between me and Cody. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's cringe, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, everyone does this, they sometimes relate to themselves to like a fictional character that they see in the movie sometimes. But let me just paint you a picture, okay? A middle-class teenager that already knows what he wants to do with his life by pushing his passion to the max in order to succeed, only to have him fail and find a new path that makes him realize that his passion is about wanting to do something rather than needing to do something. I am so glad that I wrote that down because my voice is just gone right now. This movie puts on a whole new perspective on self-discovery and growth and really teaches it well to the kids. So today, we're going to be doing a quick recap on it. And the movie starts off with our main protagonist, Cody. We get a brief layout of Cody's life and how he likes to surf and how he got into surfing because of this big shot named Big Z. Big Z was an all-time famous surfer who liked to surf on the big waves near Pangu Island, which is where 80% of the rest of the movie is going to be taking place, so stay tuned for that. But right now we're in Liverpool, Cody's town. He's a fish sorter, which is mundane and boring, and he lives with his mom and his brother, who is a complete douchebag to him.
There we go. I'm lucky I survived.
Okay, remember how I said that Cody relates to me a lot? Well, the same thing goes with his brother. I mean, his brother is a lot like my brother, except I'm the older brother and he's the younger brother. Anyway, Cody goes along about how saying everyone really just doesn't like him because he's different, you know, and he surfs, and also how his dad was eaten by a killer whale. So that's lovely. We're then introduced to this other guy named Reggie Villamont. What is it? Hold on. What is it? Reggie Belafonte. That's how you say it, right? Reggie here is a surfboard promoter and promotes all the popular surfboard winners and contest winners and, you know, junk like that. And I think he sounds like a pretty stand-up guy and, you know, he seems pretty nice.
We just have a few more questions about Big Z.
But right now, I think we're more interested in telling the Reggie Belafonte story, and who could blame us?
But Big Z is kind of the focus of
Hey,
our...
let's get the coconut filler guy over here. And how about the guy sweeping the sand? Can we hear your boring story about your tedious, worthless, ridiculous life? Get your feathers off it!
By the way, this guy's voiced by James Wood, and I don't know what they're paying James Wood, but he is doing a phenomenal job in this movie, okay? Like, I'm not one for criticism, and my criticism is probably wrong for this movie, but he is doing a phenomenal job. I bet that he just walked in, right? Like, they had an extra character, and they were just like, we need a voice actor, and he just walked in like, I'll do it.
Thor, get down here.
All Father.
Don't do that.
We then get cut to a sports program where we are introduced to the main setting of the movie, Pangu Island, which I gotta say is pretty nice to say the least. And then we're introduced to this douchebag, Tank Evans. That's a funny name. Tank. Tank, 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 tank. What? Oh, right, yeah. Anyway, he briefly tells them that he likes to win all the time and that, you know, he's the best and that he's egocentric, he massacres a kid or two, and then we move on to the next scene. We're then introduced to this guy, his name is Mikey, and Mikey is actually a pretty cool character because he actually does all of Reggie's dirty work, which is he finds surfboarders across the globe, which I think is a pretty stressful job, and according to him, it is. And then we're introduced to another character who is possibly my favorite character out of this movie, Chicken Joe.
Whoa! You gotta try this blowhole thing, man. This whale dude is giving me a brain freeze.
I lost a bet.
Anyway, Mikey goes looking for Cody. Cody meets Mikey at the fish sorting place, which I gotta say is possibly the worst place to meet someone. This is like meeting your job interviewer at like a fast food restaurant. Possibly the worst place to make a first impression, unless you're wanting to work at the fast food restaurant, in which case I don't really think it matters. Anyway, Cody goes out in the water, he tries to make a shot, he doesn't take it, and Mikey goes, alright, I'm out of here, screw you. Cody's upset, of course, because who wouldn't be? Bro just literally winged off your one chance at possibly becoming the biggest surfer of all time. Then again, you're not that good at surfing anyway, so, whoops. And then as Mikey is sailing off with the whale, Cody's just like, hey, no, I'm not going anywhere. You taking me to Pangu? No way, no how. You are not coming with us. Try that guy! There's a few attempts on having Cody drown, but, you know, they all fail, and Cody eventually ends up getting on the whale and ends up going to Pangu Island. And also, he makes friends with Chicken Joe, which I think is the most important part of the story.
Radical.
They party, hang out with a few girls. Cody meets this girl named Lonnie, and apparently she's the lifeguard of the beach, and he instantly falls in love with her. For some reason, he abruptly says it out loud to his friend, which, I mean, they've only been friends for like, what, a few hours? I mean, if they're that in cahoots, then, I mean, wow, bravo to them. I mean, there's a lot to relate between me and Cody, but the only differences that I can call out are the surfing and him being able to make friends faster than me. Anyway, Cody has an embarrassing conversation with Lonnie, and Lonnie's like, yeah, I'm the lifeguard, and I do a lot of lifeguardy things, and, you know, it's just, a lot, you know, a little crazy, but, you know, it's fine, it's whatever, it's just my job, and, hey, buddy, I'm over here. Don't leave that camera away from me, okay? You can't do that. Help me, please. Oh, no, you son of a... And then they notice Big Z's shrine, and he's like, whoa, dude, you see that? No, dude, I think I'm blind. You see that? That's Big Z's shrine. Who's Big Z? Anyway, we get a brief backstory about how Big Z was killed in the wave, and then Tank is just like, yeah, screw you! I'm glad you died in the wave! Cody gets really mad at Tank, and then Tank does the most despicable thing of all, and pushes my boy Chicken Joe out of the way, which I think is uncalled for. Tank and Cody duke it out, they go in the big waves, they try to have a little contest, and of course Cody flops because, you know, Cody. Lonnie goes into the water, rescues Cody, and then we cut to them going into the forest for some reason, and Lonnie introduces us to our another protagonist friend here, Geek. She drags Cody into this weird looking treehouse and plops on the table, and she's like, hey bro, I think she's dead. No, he's not dead. Turns out Cody just stepped on a fire urchin, and that's the reason why he passed out. Geek makes the biggest brain decision to apparently pull it up, because that's what you're supposed to do when you step on a fire urchin. He then makes the even bigger brain decision to grab a cup of water, drink it, go over to Cody, and yeah. We then cut to Chicken Joe, where he's apparently being used as foundation for these kids' sandcastle, and then goes on the manhunt to find Cody.
How's it going, man?
We then cut back to Cody. He's with Geek, wants him to kick him out, and then Cody's like, oh, wait, I think I lost my necklace. Nah, you didn't lose your necklace. No, I lost my necklace, boy. You would see it around my neck. Anyway, Geek shows Cody the path that leads them back into the beach, and Cody's just like, I can't go back. What are they going to say to me? I don't know. Why don't you man up and go? Zeke then returns after sulking for like, I don't know, like 20, 45 minutes, and he gives him the bracelet, and he's like, oh, thanks, bro. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. You gonna go back anytime soon? No, of course not. Oh, okay. Hey, look at this. It's a log. Oh, yeah, it's a log. Yeah. You know what type of log it is? Wood log? Yeah, it's a wood log. Let's make a board out of it. We then cut back to my boy Chicken Joe, where he's still looking for Cody, and we also get a little insight about who his dad was. Yummy. Geek and Cody are dragging a log through the forest, and Cody's like, why don't we just roll the log? Ah, that's my foot! That's my foot! Ow! That's my foot! That's my foot! I'm sorry. Here, let me get you. Ah! The log rolls down the hill, almost kills Geek, and Geek is like, hey, help me, I'm so I can kill you! They come across a beach, which apparently was Big Z's old beach, apparently, and then they find all of Geek's old boards, and then here's the timestamp where Cody finds out that Geek is Big Z. Oh! We then cut to a couple of interviews where they're asking what a winner is, and to be honest, I think all of them are wrong. I think being a winner is about who can be the best Chicken Joe. I mean, whoever is Chicken Joe, you know, they're automatically a winner, at least in my heart. We also get a little glimpse into Tank's weird trophy kink, which I hate entirely. And then we cut back to the beach where Cody is just riding one of Big Z's boards, just out of spite. I honestly think this is the most disrespectful thing that you can possibly do, especially when Big Z is literally like right there. Cody tries to surf a couple times, and then, you know, Big Z is just giving out great tips, by the way.
Long, smooth strokes. Dig deep. Dig. Come on.
I'm digging! And apparently, according to Big Z, the only way for Cody to actually surf well, or better, and I actually don't think better is the best option in this case, but whatever, is for Cody to make his own board. We then get cut to Chicken Joe, who is still wandering in the forest looking for Cody, and oh my god, it's ice! Run! We cut back to my boy Big Z and Cody, where they begin making Cody's board and setting everything up, and, you know, Big Z's giving out tips where he's like, with the grain. With the grain. You hear me? It was with the grain. With the grain. It's with the grain. With the grain. Then they perform one of the greatest scenes of all time, where it's literally just me and my stepdad in any given situation whatsoever.
You're doing it wrong.
Will you
Cody.
just, will
No,
you just,
Cody,
will
no.
you just?
We then cut back to Chicken Joe where he gives a quick update on what happened to him because apparently that was not ice. Apparently he got bamboozled by a bunch of weird penguin people called Panguans and they just treated them like he's their king, you know, and nothing wrong with it.
It was kind of cool. They kind of served me food while I was in there.
It was like dinner and a show.
Hey, yum 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 yum. Oh, yummy, 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 yum yum yum.
We then cut to Cody where he's just prancing through the forest where he's just all angry, pissed off for some reason because apparently he didn't make the board right and he broke it for some reason. Like, what the hell? What the heck? What happened to with the grain? Cody, you were given specific instructions! Lonnie and Cody meet up and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? Lonnie praises Cody for getting Z down to the beach in one day, which I honestly didn't even think he tried, but, you know, whatever. You know, a win's a win. They then both go to this cave where they go sliding all over the place and it's a really awesome montage with epic music and epic things and then they just go, what the heck is that?
You see those things up above you? They're glowworms.
Right.
So you're right beneath them. Yeah, that's poop.
Lonnie and Cody shower together, which is not weird at all. And then Lonnie's like, hey, you need to go back and apologize. Okay, so Cody goes back and actually doesn't really do that because he's asleep. So you know what he does instead? He builds a board. Look at that, they come full circle. We get into the next scene of where they talk about being inside the tube of a wave, which I actually think is kind of cool. But the one thing that I love about the scene is how they actually have like, what I can only assume is real life interviewees being interviewed for this movie, where they talk about being inside the tube of a wave. And that's just what I really love about this part. Just the amount of work and detail that was put into making this look like an actual documentary was just absolutely phenomenal and an excellent artistic choice. We then cut to my boy Reggie where he's talking about the Big Z competition that's coming up and, you know, everything's going to plan.
I promote happiness!
We then cut back to my boy Chicken Joe where he talks about how he's got bamboozled by Isaac. Wait, no, that's the... And apparently they're really hungry, so Chicken Joe's like, hold on, I got a solution for you. Here, eat this. See, this is what I mean. This is what it means to be a winner. Just be more like Chicken Joe. We cut back to Z and Cody, and now after the board's all set up and ready to go, you know, they think that they're going to be doing some training, but apparently they're not doing some training. They're just, they're goofing off. Until Cody gets the upper hand when Z falls asleep and decides to prank him by putting him in the ocean. Because that's the best thing you should do to somebody when they're unconscious and asleep. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you're drowning out there, buddy! Anyway, after that whole segment, Z's like, alright, great job at drowning me, now let's surf, baby! We get this awesome montage of them surfing, it's pretty cool, and they're all pretty chill. It's like, oh yeah, it's pretty nice, yeah. And then Lonnie shows up out of nowhere for some reason with a bunch of clams. Are you gonna pick those up, or...? I wasn't asking. Lonnie surfs with Cody and Z for a little bit, and Cody actually gets good at surfing, finally. Like, you would think, like, a kid like Cody, who's been surfing for, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, maybe, like, his entire life, would be good at surfing and would not even need, like, Z's training at all. Like, I don't really get that. I mean, I get, you know, surfing's probably pretty hard for some people, but it shouldn't take you, like, 10, I don't know, 15 years for you to learn it. We then cut to the campfire where they're singing a song and they're chilling, you know, and then Cody brings up the question. He's like, hey, Z, hey, what's up? What happened to you on the day that you died?
I am so lonely.
Z explains how he faked his death because he was in a small contest with Tank Evans, and apparently he lost, and he didn't want to go back on the beach, you know, because he didn't want to be humiliated. So instead of just taking the L, he decides to fake his death, which personally speaking, I think is a bit excessive. No, what am I saying? That's completely excessive. You did not need to fake your death in order for you to not get humiliated. In fact, I think that's kind of like, what is it? Guilt tripping. Is that what it is? Guilt tripping? I mean, he probably regrets it immensely, yes, but still, I don't think that's the right call to make in this situation. I think the best call is just for you to just swim away and go on the other side of the island. Even then, just like, faking your death is not really the best call here. I'm just saying. Anyway, Cody and Z get into an argument, and, you know, Cody's upset that Z, quote-unquote, gave up that day, and, you know, Cody goes back to the beach and gets ready for the contest. Contest day, bang, bomb, boom, there's a lot of surfing, and Cody gets good, nearly has a panic attack on the water, and Chicken Joe is rocking it as per usual. But of course there's Tank Evans, because, you know, why not? You gotta have an antagonist somewhere. We then get to the final wave where it's Chicken Joe versus Cody versus Tank Evans, and they're just having one heck of a time, and it's really, really good. But things quickly go south when Cody leads off into the boneyards, which is apparently a death trap. for surfers. I mean, yeah, it looks like a death trap. I mean, look at it. Anyway, Tank Evans absolutely Will Smiths Cody, and then not even like 5 seconds later, Tank gets what he deserves.
Tank! Look out!
You look out! Ugh.
But he's fine. He's pulled back out of the water. But Cody's still out there in the water. He's struggling. You know, he's trying to survive because, you know, it's water. But then Z shows up and he's like, hey, yo, swim to me! I'm swimming! Cody does this one last move where he swims up the wave and out of it, and Z catches them before the wave comes crashing down, and, you know, they're dead. Nah, just kidding, they're alive. And then they swim back to shore. Finally, Z shows himself once again onto the beach. Everyone's shocked. It's like, oh my god. He's a fraud. Anyway, Z tells them how's it going, you know, everything's going fine, and, you know, Reggie shows up, he's like, hey, I'm gonna promote this for my YouTube channel, cause I wanna make some lots of money, and it's gonna— Dude, shut up, okay? Everyone knows that you're right next to KSI, alright? Anyway, everyone throws their surfboards down on the ground at Reggie, and, you know, Reggie was like, hey, come back here! You guys still need to subscribe to my YouTube channel! And then they go off to the other beach of where, you know, Big Z's hut is. And, you know, we get that traditional happy ending of where everyone's dancing, but instead of dancing, they're surfing and chilling. And, yeah, it's a traditional happy ending. Hallelujah. The end. Oh, also Chicken Joe won, by the way. My boy Chicken Joe, hashtag be the chicken!